Next, we're going to fill out the VA form using a small case study. What follows next is from an actual VA report. The project is Geauga County, State Route 87, Section 19.75. The acquisition parcel is 10SH and 10T, and we're looking at that property right now. The property, parcel 10, is outlined in black. See that it's a single-family residential home situated towards the middle of the site, and the red line where the property meets Kinsman Road represents where the take area is at. You're also going to see a couple other red rectangles that denote commercial properties that are in close proximity to the subject, but primarily along the road front, most of the properties are single-family residential. We're looking at a picture right now. So we're standing on State Route 87. This is from a Google Earth photo, and we're looking up the driveway of Parcel 10, and you can see the detached two-car garage. The take area is on either side of the driveway. You can see it's primarily grass in the vicinity of the driveway. This next picture, we're standing to the easterly side of the property, and we're looking westerly along the intersection of State Route 87 and the property, which is on the left. You can see that there's a small ditch along the road frontage. There's a culvert towards the middle, and you can see a telephone pole that's pretty close to the driveway. That telephone pole is a close approximation of where the existing right-of-way line is at. And again, we're pointing out the culvert and the open swale ditching that exists in the current right-of-way. Now we are standing at the westerly edge of the property, looking easterly. Parcel 10 is to the left. Again, where you're looking at the power poles represents the approximation of the edge of the existing right-of-way. And you can see where there is some indigenous vegetation that is going to be within the take area. Next, we are looking at the summary of right-of-way. This is from the right-of-way plans. Parcel 10 is outlined in red, and it shows that the WD taking is 0.0465 acres, and that the T taking is 0.0330 acres. The fee owners are by the name of Ribes, and they don't own absolute fee, that others own the gas and oil rights, is outlined in blue, and outlined in yellow explains that the temporary is for grading and driveway construction and removal of a portion of the wooded area. Bottom left is another red rectangle, and it shows that the temporary will be 12 months in duration. We're now looking at some detail sheets of Parcel 10. Again, Parcel 10 is outlined in red, and you can see that Parcel 10 extends to the middle of State Route 87. So that means that State Route 87 is a highway easement. The yellow indicates the WD area, and the green indicates the temporary construction area. The existing right-of-way is shown by a dashed red line, and the existing edge of pavement is shown as a solid red line. In small brown squares, we are identifying highway stationing. So this property is in the vicinity of Highway Station 120 and 121. And the previous picture, we were looking up the driveway of Parcel 10, and this red arrow indicates that same direction that the photograph was showing us. First thing that we generally do when we appraise or estimate compensation is we do the appraisal scoping checklist. Here is the checklist for this case study. Top part deals with appraisal scope. Second is the ownership issues. In this case, we had fractured ownership. The gas and oil rights were controlled by others. Next, we talk about regulations. In this particular parcel, there was no zoning, so no, the property is not encumbered with any zoning problems or issues. Next are right-of-way and construction plans, followed by conclusion, followed by an explanation of the appraisal problem. To make a long story short, on the explanation of the appraisal problem, the taking is nominal and has nominal impact on the residue property. The valuation problem is uncomplicated. Compensation appears to be less than $10,000, and so the VA report is the appropriate valuation format. No review is recommended. And this is the second page of the appraisal scoping checklist, and so the agency would sign on the top. The review appraiser, if one was used, would sign second, And the third signature would be the person who is doing the value analysis, would be the third signature. We've just introduced a little bit about the property, so now it's time to fill out the VA report using this example, the small case study. Top part of the VA, the owner's name was Ryby. We got that from the summary sheet, so we've inserted it here. From the highway plans and construction plans, we know the county is Geauga, and the acronym for that is GEA from the right-of-way plans. But we know it's Route 87. We know it's section 19.75. We know the parcel numbers is parcel 10, and the series is a WD take and a T take, and the PID was 23733. The address location we got from the right-of-way plans, and we also would have gotten this from a physical inspection of the property. We know that there's no zoning in Middlefield Township where this property is located. We know that it's on well and septic. We have to put in the auditor's parcel number, which is shown here. The larger parcel size, again, we were able to get that from the summary sheet on the highway plans, and we also could have gotten that from the title report. Just be aware, because we're dealing with a standard highway easement, the area of the property owned in gross was 3.99 acres. But remember, that property went to the center of State Route 87. So the existing property before the taking was encumbered with a standard highway easement, also known as PRO, and that PRO area was 0.1396 acres. So the area of the property before the taking is 3.8504 acres, which we've shown here on the VA form. We're going to be, when we estimate units of value, it's going to be on a per acre basis. And for highest and best use, we inserted C comments. For this is the highest and best use of the whole site is residential or light commercial industrial based on land use in the area. The size is net of PRO, acronym for present road occupied. There is no public water or sanitary sewer available in the area. The property has an on-site septic and well. It's rectangular in configuration, having 202 feet along State Route 87, which is a paved state route. The next section of the VA report deals with comparables, and these are the comp sales that were considered in the valuation of the whole property as a vacant site. Here are the sales that the appraiser did consider, but only 3 were selected, and those were Sale 3, Sale 5, and Sale 6. These are the 3 sales that were considered to be most representative of value. And so those sales, the data sheets have to be written up to ODOT standards. This happens to be Sale 3, this is Sale 5, and this is Sale number 6. The data on these comparable sales are verified to ODOT standards, and these standards that ODOT have also been derived from regulations that govern ODOT from 49 CFR Part 24 and Ohio Administrative Code 55012-506. Verifying means that they were verified with a party involved with the transaction. The data sheets are not required to be attached to the value analysis report, and these are the 3 sales that will be used on the VA report. Here's the first information that we need for the first sale. Sale number 3, the auditor's parcel number is identified here. The location is on Hosmer Road in Parkman Township in Geauga County. Highest and best use was residential. This particular parcel did have a zoning encumbrance. It's R1, known as residential district. The verification of this sale was by the broker and the agent. Utilities, no public water or sanitary sewer is available, so development requires an on-site septic system and well. Sold in October 2017 for $35,000. It contained 2.580 acres, which included no PRO, indicated a unit value of $13,566 an acre. In comments, property was vacant at time of sale. The R1 zoning limits the use of residential only, while the whole property has a highest and best use that's residential and light commercial. The sale is rectangular in shape, having 155 feet of frontage. Sale is the most recent sale in close proximity to the whole, but its highest and best use is limited to residential because of its zoning, making it inferior to the whole property, although its size is slightly smaller than the whole. We're now going to analyze the second sale, which is sale number 5. There's its auditor parcel number. Its location is 13630 Old State Road in Middlefield Township, Geauga County. Highest and best use, we are going to say C comments. It has no zoning classification because it's located in Middlefield Township, as is the subject. Verification is with a broker agent. Utilities, no public water, sanitary sewers available. Development requires an on-site septic and well. Sold in March of 2015 for $55,000. Its size at time of sale was 2.820 acres net of any PRO, indicating a unit value of $19,504 an acre. And the comments that we developed were, the highest and best use of the site is vacant, is residential or industrial. The property was vacant at time of sale and has since been developed with a warehouse. The site is rectangular, having 160 front feet along a paved state road. Sale 5 is similar to the whole, as it has no zoning and a highest and best use of residential and industrial. The sale is slightly smaller in size, but its location is considered similar to the whole. The last sale that was analyzed identified as sale 6, and there's its auditor parcel number. Its address is 17392 Kinsman Road, also in Middlefield Township. Highest and best use, we said see comments. Zoning, again, as it's in Middlefield Township, there is no zoning. It's verified with the grantee and the buyer. Utilities, again, no public water or sanitary sewer. Development requires an on-site well and septic. This property sold in March 2015. Sale price was $70,000. Its size was 2.518 acres net of an PRO, indicating a unit value of $27,800. The comments on this sale were, the highest and best use of this sale is residential and industrial. At time of sale, this property was developed with a residence which was torn down at a cost of $10,000. Therefore, the price paid for the property was adjusted from $60,000 to $70,000. The buyer purchased the property to expand his neighboring automotive business. The property is in the project area, but the sale was not affected by the project. Sale 6 is similar to the whole, having no zoning classification and the highest and best use of residential or industrial. The sale is slightly smaller in size, but its location is considered very similar to the whole. The sale has a corner location considered superior to the whole property. Okay, so those were the analysis of the sales. So now we need to reconcile that information. The sales range from $13,566 an acre to $27,800 an acre. Sale 3 is given least consideration due to its zoning restriction, which limits its use to single-family residential only. Sale 6 is given secondary consideration as the buyer was motivated to expand his business. The sale is within the project's corridor and the property had a corner location. Sale 5 is given the greatest weight as its highest and best use and location are similar to the whole property. This sale is slightly smaller in size than the whole and is older in time. These points of inferiority are accounted for by rounding the unit value up from $19,504 an acre to $20,000 an acre. So the reconciled value is $20,000 an acre. Now that we have a unit value for the larger parcel, whole property as a vacant site, we can now allocate value to the take areas. So first we're going to look at land taken. So the first is a 10SH. Remember that SH is a highway easement. It's not a fee simple take. It is a highway easement take. The net take area is 0.0465 acres. Percent acquired, 100% of fee less $1. Unit value was $20,000 an acre. And here are the comments that we input. It's a perpetual highway easement is acquired. The Ohio jury instruction requires compensation for remaining rights limited to a nominal amount. To account for this requirement, compensation for the SH is 100% of fee value less $1 for the fee owner's remaining property rights. So to calculate what that is, it's the size that is encumbered by the SH easement, 0.0465 acres, times a unit value of the whole property before the take, $20,000 an acre, less $1 for the property rights the owner retains, gives us a compensation estimate for the land taken of $929. Next, we're going to consider the land within the temporary easement that's taken. It contains 0.0330 acres. It's for 1 year. Unit value was $20,000 an acre. The rate of return is 8%, and it's for 1 year. We multiply that together. Indicates a land rental for the duration of the T of $53. We total those two together, and we come up with a compensation estimate for land that's in the take areas of $982. And here's what this section of the form would look like if it was filled in. All right, here are the improvements taken from the form that are already filled in. So this is the second part of page 2. Within the 10SH, we have trees in the WD and the T, and we lump those together, estimated that compensation at $300. Also within the SH, we have gravel in the driveway, and then the unit of value is derived from the Marshall Cost Service. We have 150 square feet of drive in the SH area. The unit of value from Marshall is $1.25, and it's 10% depreciated, indicated that it's $169, and the total of those are $469. Compensation for trees and vegetation is not based on the cost to replace. It is based on its contributory value to the whole property. The gravel in the driveway that is in the SH area is compensated based on its contributory value to the whole property and not the cost of just replacing 150 feet of gravel. The wrong way to do it is to estimate the cost to replace 150 feet of gravel using a cost service. The right way to do it is estimate the cost to replace the entire driveway using Marshall or some other service, and then divide the square feet of the entire driveway, gives us a unit value of the drive as a part of the whole, and that unit value in this instance is $1.25 a square foot, which is allocated to the part taken. So in this case, it's $1.25 a square foot times 90%, 10% depreciated, times 150 square feet in the driveway gives us $169. Here's the cost to cure portion of the form. And in this particular instance, there were no cost to cure in this case study. It is part of the compensation estimate, and the overall estimate, if we did consider a cure, has to be less than $10,000. Examples of nominal cost to cure are replace fencing that holds livestock, capping severed sprinkler lines, replacing landscape buffers when required by zoning. Next section of the VA form is the preparer's conclusion. The SH easement has a nominal effect on the residue property. The residue will continue to be of adequate size and dimensions for development after the taking, and the existing use of the property can continue as before the taking. The T taking has a duration of 1 year and has no apparent adverse effect to the residue property. There are no apparent severance damages to the residue property resulting from the acquisition of parcels 10SH and T. The dwelling and site improvements outside the take area have been excluded from this analysis. Total estimated compensation. The part taken land is $920. Part taken improvements, $469. Gives us a total of $1,398 for the SH taken. There were no damages. The temporary was $53. When we add those together, total compensation is $1,451, which we insert onto the form. After the preparer of the VA report enters the amount of the estimated FMVE on the form, that person now moves to the signature section of the VA form. These are the signature portions of the form, and the preparer would sign in this space. They would also type their name, put title to their name if they have one, and then the date of their signature. This part of the form is filled out by the acquiring agency. It's identified as FMVE conclusion. It states the amount that will be estimated as FMVE, and FMVE is an acronym meaning fair market value estimate. It's the amount of compensation that's going to be offered to the property owner on the initial negotiation visit. So in this case, the Ohio Department of Transportation agrees with the estimate of compensation documented in the value analysis form. Total FMVE is $1,451, right? So we are now back to the signature portion on the VA form. The signature of a person of authority from ODOT is the act of the acquiring agency establishing FMVE, and for LPA projects, That signature must be a person of authority from the LPA. And so that person would sign in this space. It's generally the real estate administrator for the district. We would type in their name, type in their title, and insert the date that they signed. Federal regulation does not allow the acquiring agency to delegate the FMVE authority to a consultant. It has to be an agency. As FMVE is now established, ODOT may initiate negotiations with the property owner. This is a milestone event in a project that's actively tracked by good project managers. All right, finally, this is the administrative settlement portion of the VA report. It's on the bottom of the second page. Federal and state regulations allow an agency to settle with an owner at an amount that's higher than FMVE so long as there's justification. The preparer of the VA does not deal with this section of the VA report. This is an agency responsibility. For ODOT, this would generally be the district real estate administrator filling out this section. ODOT has procedures for administrative settle amounts, which is section 5201.10 of the real estate manual. So, to illustrate how this works, the district real estate administrator would sign in the signature section, type in their name, type in their title, type in the date that they sign. And we're going to assume that the owner countered ODOT's FMVE offer of $1,451, and their counter was $3,500. And we're going to assume that ODOT accepted that counter offer. So the FMVE amount would go in here, that's $1,451. The additional amount would go in here. That $2,049 represents the mathematical difference between FMVE at $1,451 and the counteroffer that was accepted at $3,500. So the total amount is $3,500. It's an example of what an administrative settlement documentation would look like on the VA form. And then we come to the required attachments. This is the addendum section of the VA report. First, our photographs. We need the front scene, street scene, scene of the area to be taken, label identifying who took the photograph, label identifying the date the photo was taken, an aerial photo with the boundary of the whole property. So here we have, this is from the actual VA that was done on this property. Here's the label identifying who took the photograph and the date the photograph was taken. What we're looking at is a front scene. We're also looking at a street scene. These scenes also show the take area. The photographs also provide a description of the scene you're looking at. This is an aerial photograph with the approximate boundaries of the whole property drawn in, which is out in white dotted lines. Next is the sales location map. Shows the location of the subject, showing the location of the comparable sales, and a detail sufficient to allow someone to find the properties using the map. And there is the sales location map showing the subject outlined in red and the comparable sales used on the VA outlined in blue. Next is the appraisal scoping checklist. Completed checklist needs to be attached. Completed means finalized and signed by all parties. And there is that appraisal scoping checklist. Next is the sketch. It should show the whole property in the larger parcel, show the takings and any improvements in the takes. It has to be clean and uncluttered. It must have a north arrow. In this particular sketch, we also zoomed in the aerial showing the take areas. So what you're looking at now is from the property map section of the right-of-way plans. This is a clean and uncluttered look at the whole property and the take areas. The red outlines the boundary of the whole property before the taking. It shows the whole property, which is the same as the larger parcel. The depth of that property is 839.04 feet. The width of that property is 203.03 feet. The other depth of the property is 854.09 feet. The dimensions from the deed and the title report noted a slight difference in the dimensions in the detail sheet shown on the right-of-way plans in this instance. And the existing right-of-way is shown as a black slashed dotted line. 10SH is shown here, and 10T is shown here. So it shows the takings and the improvements in the take, and the sketches, as we said before, is clean and uncluttered. And there is our north directional arrow. Here is an aerial from Google Earth, zoomed in to show the take areas, Shows the trees that are in the take areas, the gravel in the driveway that is taken, shows the approximate location of the existing right-of-way line. Right, so here is a sketch from the detail sheets of the highway plans. The red outlines the boundaries of the whole property in proximity to the take areas. This can be included as part of the sketch, and the detail sheets from the right-of-way plans in this case were joined together. This exhibit provides a lot of information, but it is cluttered and it doesn't show the whole property. Gravel taken is identified by the blue arrow. Trees taken is also identified by blue arrow. We've outlined in a square blue area that the wooded area is removed within the worked sections of the project. This exhibit by itself does not meet the requirements for the sketch that is in the policy and procedures. All right, it is time for a knowledge check.